watch Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. I am Dennis with my guest co-host Mike this week. Unfortunately, Teresa can't be here once again, but she should be back on track starting next week.
Okay, I'm happy to be here. I see you're happy too. You did your hair for this occasion.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I just want to do a quick recap. Last week, Veronica was the guest co-host. We did a little Halloween special. We talked about, where Halloween came from and, different events. We talked to Rob Romeo, who had an event for Halloween, which was great. A lot of sideshow entertainment, but less dancing, fire breathing, a little bit of everything.
That sounds like it was fun.
That was definitely cool. If you don't know Rob, definitely check him out. Rob Romeo, Twisted Circus. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's actually involved in a thing at Coney Island right now.
Like the sideshow, that thing?
Well, it's the story of Al Capone, but he's doing it, like narrating it as he's Jimmy Durante.
Oh,
So,
nice.
sounds pretty interesting.
Does sound interesting.
And he finds the best talent and does that. Right before us, as we saw, In the Cage of Cyclone was on. You definitely want to check that show out. Cyclone talks about all different types of fighting, whether it's UFC, boxing,
Grappling.
WWE, Bellator, everything. You know.
Yeah.
He covers anything that is in the realm of fighting, so that's always an interesting show.
Very knowledgeable.
We were just talking to him how Brock Lesnar's a waste, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty much everyone agrees.
The UFC's kind of going down, jumping the shark at this point.
I think both are right now. I think the UFC's struggling, and I think the WWE's struggling. They're definitely in cahoots with each other. It's not the first time they tried this. Just remember Ken Shamrock went over.
Yes.
The world's most dangerous man. Had a pretty decent career there for a while, and then went back into UFC and had a good career. I don't think he's going to have the same effect this time.
Yeah, well, I bet Brock went the other way.
Yeah, because Brock, not to mention that.
People didn't take him serious.
Ken Shamrock
and
fought.
He did.
He fought. He didn't even get his ass kicked. He was ready to fight again. He was a fighter.
He was
Brock's
tough.
not a fighter. Brock's a big dude that's really strong and can wrestle.
Right.
That's it. He's not. When he first went to the UFC, first of all, he lost which was supposed to be a gimme fight against Frank Mir, because Frank Mir was on his way out in
Right.
and he lost. He had to tap out.
Right. He got caught in a submission.
Right.
Yeah.
So then he learned enough not to do that. Fought mediocre guys, tune-up guys, got a shot at the title, won it. Fought some good guys too, but guys that were not really in the same weight class. Like
Yeah.
Randy Couture, the guy was a light heavyweight that would put on weight to become heavyweight. Where Brock was cutting weight to get to 265. It just wasn't fair.
And not to take anything away from Frank Mir, because you did mention it.
No, he was before he got in the accident. He was one of the best.
Yeah, bad motorcycle
If it was
accident.
before that motorcycle accident, he would have beat the shit
And
out of
he's
Lesnar.
a
I have
legit BJJ black belt. Has
He
been
was,
for
he
a
was,
long time.
What was he fighting? He was pretty decent. What was he, like 240 or something like that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of the heavyweights were just over the 205 mark. They were
Right.
210, 220.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
dude.
Yeah, and he never really cut totally down. He was never shredded for his fights.
But he could fight, But anyway, we'll get past that. I just want to recap a couple of things, go over some things before we get our version of the show started. A few weeks ago, we had Joey Nuccio on here, because we did our Halloween month, and he worked at the Chamber of Horrors. But we found out, I know you were watching the show, he does a lot of other things too.
Mhm.
One big thing being he does a lot for charity. And what he was doing for the last, I believe, 25 years, he's been dressing up Santa and picking up a kid that had a really bad illness and giving them basically whatever they wanted for Christmas.
Wow.
So
And that's funded by.
a lot by him and donations.
Okay.
So we decided we were going to help him out. We set up a GoFundMe page yesterday. We'd like to see some of you guys donating on it, but let me just give you a little brief thing. I printed out the GoFundMe page. There's pictures of Alex. I'm not going to read the whole thing and bring everybody down before we get to our show. But basically, Alex is an 8-year-old boy. He's got a rare case of type 1 juvenile diabetes. His mother's a single mom, and anyone who's paid medical bills knows
Yeah. Not
that
cheap.
being sick is not cheap, and having a kid's not cheap when you're a single parent. So we would really like to get as much money as we can so this kid can have the best possible Christmas ever. If there's any extra, so to speak, it's not going to go to waste. It's not going to go in anyone's pocket. It's going to be either given to the family to help with the bills, or it's going to be given to other people in need.
Okay.
So please go to the GoFundMe page and donate to it.
And I'm sure the
Help us out.
GoFundMe page has the whole story written
Yes,
there. If people
yeah,
want to read
the whole
it.
story's on there if you want to read the whole thing. But like I said, I don't want to bring everyone too down.
Yeah, no,
And then
no.
it's like, hey, you know.
Great cause, couple bucks. Doesn't, especially around the holiday time, you want to help out in some way. It's a great thing. $5, $10.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I'll donate. I'm sure Dennis is
Yeah,
going to
I'm going
donate.
to donate.
So,
What I wanted to see how close we got to the goal.
and try to
To
make
try
it up.
to make it
Okay.
up. So, if I got to get a Kickstarter, I will, because we haven't gotten any donations to this point. But then again, this is the first show we've had.
Great.
only yesterday
Yeah.
said
And
that,
it's
so.
going for how long? Did you? set the
We're going to
poll?
figure that out, because actually originally Teresa set it up for December 22nd, but I know he needs some money before that.
Right.
So we'll figure something out. We're going to get him the money, and if we could align the schedules, I'd like to have him on the show to give him the money.
Present them with a check.
Right.
That would be very cool.
And if you don't want to do it to GoFundMe and you want to donate cash, we'll take cash. Whatever you got, we'll take. I know some people have issues with
Mm-hmm.
them, but whatever.
So even if they find a way to get
you.
you the cash, and you could do the GoFundMe. I
Yeah.
mean, one way or the other. Because
Well,
I
if
think
I get the cash, I'm just going to give it right to him.
Okay.
And that way there's no fees taken out. Because
Okay.
they do take a decent amount out because it's not an actual charity.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So I understand, because some people have come up to me. And if you want to help out, I know Brother B had offered to do a 50-50 at one of his events, because he DJs and does karaoke.
Nice.
Please help out. It's, like I said, it's not going to go to waste. It's definitely going to go to someone in need. So with that being said, let's read our message from our sponsor, Kayla Logistics. And I see Frank is watching, so we're going to talk up Mike. You know Frank.
Yes, I do.
So we're going to talk him up a little bit. Kayla Logistics, where your business is our priority. Moving products you use every day across the country and around the world. Contact Frank Zambuto for all of your domestic and international logistic projects. Frank has over 20 years experience working with many name brand companies in the apparel, cosmetics, as seen on TV, and electronic industries. For trucking, air, and ocean cargo on all 7 continents, all you need is one solution. To all Cool Cat listeners, just mention our show, and Frank will offer a free cost and transit time analysis for all your cargo. When cost and time matter, we deliver. Frank Zambuto and K Logistics, where your business is our priority. And you can reach him directly at 347-536-3933. Frank is one of the hardest working people that I've met. And I'm not just saying that because he's family. He really
Right.
is. So please give him a call. A lot of people are confused with tariffs and stuff like that.
Yes.
He's not.
Right.
He knows. So give him a call and check him out. And that's Frank at Kayla Logistics. So, what's going on with you?
All right. Well, I guess I was a little surprised, to hear that Teresa was out, and big shoes to fill. No, I mean, honestly, the girl got big feet. I mean, when she was walking in the other day, I thought she was wearing flippers.
Can't really tell because
Yeah. But anyway, no, Teresa, they miss you. We really do. It's probably these past couple of weeks, probably the first shows where people actually haven't actually fallen asleep while watching. But just kidding if you're watching. It's been actually your show's a lot of fun. I'm happy to be here. When you first asked me, I was like wondering where recently my life has taken a really bad downturn, but and then I was trying to figure out where I fit in the pinups, Cool Cats, comics, and I'm like, all right, I'm kind of funny, maybe, but I'm not really a comic.
How many people drove up and down Hempstead Turnpike with McDonald's noses?
Yeah,
That makes you a cool cat
listen,
right there.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. And then I was thinking,
We might tell that story later. But those who know.
yeah, so that's it, and I'm there, and so Cool Cat, I'm gonna go with Cool Cat, and then when you follow me into the bathroom and pin me up against the wall and said I got to earn my airtime, then I kind of saw
See how it all comes together?
I'm a pinup.
Full
So
circle.
just anybody, if you're sitting in this seat, you earn it.
And I told him to be funny, so there's comic.
Yeah,
you got all three.
sorry.
You got the hat trick.
I'm trying. It's hard. You go in a little cold. Never really done it before. I'm not a seasoned comic like Dennis. I'm just more like a barroom comic, trying to make everybody laugh. But I'm happy to be here. I am. I'm really happy to be here. I was trying to think of funny, witty things to say all week, and you know what? I think let's just have a good time. I've known you for 30 years, 30 plus.
Which is weird because I'm only 25.
Yeah, I know, but
I
we
don't
were.
know how
I
that
think
works out, but
somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really happy to be here. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so that's it. Nothing's new with me. I, stay-at-home mom. I'm Mr. Mom. I'm retired. At my age, it's pretty cool. And that's it. I watch Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics, every Monday. So that's my Monday entertainment. Kind of take the place of Steinfeld. So, Jerry wasn't even that funny. It was more Kramer.
From what I'm reading here, I'm having a microphone issue. So how about this? I don't push my comedy enough. And this Friday, I'm going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club in Manhattan in the main room with headliner Chris Roach.
That's huge.
So Veronica made a little promo video for that. So why don't we play that, and I'll see if I can figure out my mic issues, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. And we're back.
And we're back.
Pretty cool, exciting video, right?
Yeah, it's I like it. I've seen your promos before. I'd like to see you throw a joke in it. There's some people have never heard you stand up. And just, listen, I know you don't want to give away your act.
Yeah.
To get a certain amount of time.
You know what it is? It's a tough call because in the beginning, I was putting all my sets online.
Yes.
And then I was trying to get people to come out and see me.
But why?
And I know all your stuff already.
Right.
Well, thanks for all the support of watching me free on YouTube and Facebook
Right.
and not actually coming out to my shows.
No, I know. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe
So
throw a good one-liner in there. Something.
that's a good idea, and I will talk to V about that. 'Cause she makes a video, so I don't know how hard or easy that would be
That was
to put
phenomenal.
in.
She made that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But then I went the other route. I actually was improving a lot by taking lessons with Paul Bond, who's
Okay.
phenomenal. And I took the brokerage course with Rich Walker, who's going to be on next week. And I got a lot better. And then I went back and I watched some of my old stuff. I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. I wouldn't want to come see me either. So I put some new stuff out there, and, try to get a tease. But it's hard to find that right balance.
Now,
because
can you explain something to somebody like me who's not in the comic circuit or somebody who's interested in coming out to see you? The difference between what you said, the main room, and like something that they could call the little room or the side room, or
Well, it's different depending on the club. Like in Governors, they have the main room, which is where if you're going to see Dice Clay or whoever that was
Some
just
big,
there,
big acts.
it's a big room. Big headliner names. Even the openers for them are usually top-notch comedians and would headline most places.
okay, so it's people that are in
So
the circuit.
it's
and
people that are upper level.
So a small local guy like you wouldn't make that room?
I don't think at my level. I actually entered a contest to do that in Governors,
Okay, is
and
that-
I got past the first round, didn't get the second round, and if you won that was actually one of the things is you would actually get to open for some of these people in the
Now,
main room.
who judged those contests? I've seen you've been in 2 of them. Now, how does
Well,
that work?
yeah, it depends on the contest, but there it was comedians that worked for Governors.
So it had nothing to do with audience participation. It wasn't.
No, it did.
clap-
I mean, they look at everything. They want to see your stage performance. They want to see originality in the jokes.
Okay.
They want to see how you interact, how comfortable you are on stage, and of course, the audience response is going to be a big deal.
Okay.
Because if you suck, you can be the best stage performer out there. You're not going to get the.
So basically, whoever packs the house more with their fans.
I'm sure that has. I mean, if they tell you that has nothing to do with it, I personally would say it's a lie because. It's kind of like that contagious thing. If I bring 25, 30 people into
And
a
they're
room like that, and
laughing
they're
at
all
it.
laughing, and everybody
Yeah.
else starts laughing, it looks really good for me.
Right.
If I have one person in there, and everybody's holding their laughter for their friends, it's not going to look so good. But I will say, like the contests I've entered, they've been very fair. Governors was a great crowd because I did have one person at the one governor's contest, and yet I still did pretty well.
Awesome.
So, a lot of people went to one, didn't come to the other. And I don't think it really made that much of a difference. It was me. I knew where I went wrong, and I knew what I had to do better the next time.
Right.
But then I went to a show in the main room at Broadway in Manhattan, and I didn't have enough, because it's tough to get people to the city during the week,
it's
and
hard
especially
for me.
early.
Like I said, as I'm home, my wife works.
So I didn't qualify to win the first prize, but I took second.
Okay.
Would I have won first? I don't know. I mean, but, it's not necessarily, you got to win the crowd over. See, it's a little different because I was used to the band where I need their energy to perform to them.
Right.
You don't do that in comedy, and I was told that by Billy Miro, who we're both friends with.
Yes, you
I was
did.
told that by Paul. I was told that by a lot of comics. You got to make them get into it. You give them the energy. You direct the crowd and say, no, this is funny. You're going to laugh at it.
Okay. Now, did you find that those courses you said you took, did they help with that?
Big time.
They
Big
did.
time. I mean, unfortunately, because of my situation with work and all that, I don't get to go out to the city 5 nights a week and do 3-4 open mics. I don't get to do it around here that much.
Is that how comics get known?
Oh, yeah. And it's also how they get seasoned.
Okay.
Like, I had Pauline Murphy on here months ago when we were at the other place, and she lives and breathes comedy. And she's not the only one, but it was just because we had her on and we were talking to her. She'll do stuff in the afternoon, stuff in the evening. Every day she's doing something comedy related, whether it's an open mic or performing. And that's how you get that stage confidence and jokes. You see what works, what don't work.
I mean, yeah, I personally, my biggest fear would be the swing and the miss. You know what I mean? You go up there.
And that's what you learn, because
yeah,
it's going to happen.
You know, I mean, shit, it's, how many times have you done, say something on Facebook, you put a witty comment, and you're sitting there, you check it like every few minutes, and you're like, nobody fucking,
Yeah.
nobody even
That happens
did
a lot.
it. And
That
you're like,
happens a
how
lot.
did you miss? It was a home run. You know, and it's,
And then what's funny is I do a show, I say a joke, it kills.
Right.
Like, all right, I got this home run. I go to another club, I do the same joke, and people are just
Yeah, crickets. See, that's my,
looking at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, do you get on your horse and keep going, right? You
Yeah,
don't, you don't
absolutely.
Try, you don't try to explain the joke. You don't try to,
Paul credited
Tie
Jim Brewer
in
for telling
another
him, just go out there and do your routine.
and whether they laugh, they laugh.
And they'll like it.
Okay.
You'll make them like it. So that's what I try to do now.
So it's not a lot of improv, right?
No, it is, because you gotta be able to adjust on the fly too.
So if you're
Actually, I started doing some improv stuff as well, which helps just in general.
So you have a written set like you would like with the band, how you have a set list, and then
Yeah,
you could kind of read the crowd and say, all right, and you have like a little side set list of these songs. If the crowd gets into this, we'll do this type of.
Before I go on, like I try to find out how much time I'm gonna have, because that varies too. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
So what do you have coming up in this show?
That I'm not sure yet. I got to find out, but it's usually between 5 and 10 minutes,
But that's,
which is a big difference. But
Yeah.
that I don't like to prep too much in advance, because then I start overthinking everything.
okay.
So I'll reach out to John beforehand, like Thursday or whatever, and say how much time am I getting.
But do you
I
do
don't
like
know
on a
if that's
10-minute?
me or-
No, I think
but-
it came from on a 10-minute set. Like, do you start out like ease into it? Kind of like put your toes in the water and throw
No,
out.
absolutely not, because that's one thing I learned from the brokerage course, and
Mm-hmm.
it's something I learned from Paul's workshops in the one-on-one. You want to hit them right off the bat.
So hit 'em
you
with
want
something
to
funny.
because you're coming up there with a little energy, because the host already has them cheering and clapping and laughing a little
Hopefully,
bit.
yeah.
When you come up, they say before you even grab the mic stand and put it behind you, you want to hit them with a joke.
Okay. So
I hit 'em.
all right, and you see that. I see
Right.
comics do that all the time. They take the mic out as they're walking
As it-
back. They're starting their
Right. As they're laughing, though, is when, and I don't always do it. I still forget sometimes to play with it right. But you tell the joke as they're laughing, you grab the mic, you put the mic stand behind you,
Okay.
and then you play to the crowd.
Right. So you don't get you're all set up, your water, your mic stand. You just
No, because then they're down.
Okay.
And then you want to keep them up there. If you're going to try out any new stuff, or if stuff you think is weak, but you're doing it anyway, you do that in the middle.
mid set. Okay.
But you want to start here, you want to end here.
Okay. So but you save like your best for or what you think or what has gotten the best results for last.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, because sometimes I like to try stuff out, or sometimes like the stuff where I'm leading to for the ending is just not working out.
Okay.
So I'll bail on it and I'll try something else.
All right. So you just
But I'm new in the world of comedy. I mean, there's people doing this 10, 15 years that have just found their voice in their spot.
oh okay.
So I got years to go before I'm on that level where I would
you know.
All right, so you got this gig coming up. When is it again?
It's this Friday. It's in the Broadway Comedy Club. The doors open at 6. The show starts at 6:30, so it is an early one.
Yeah.
But the big deal there is Chris Roach is headlining.
Yeah, no, Chris Roach.
And if you
is a
don't know
funny guy.
Chris Roach,
Yeah.
he's a Long
Check him
Island
out on
guy.
YouTube. Yeah,
he's
a funny
very
guy.
funny. Him and Billy started doing comedy around the same time.
Oh, okay.
And he was performing at McGuire's, and Kevin James caught a piece of his act, thought he was great, and offered him a role on the show, which he was not on Kevin Can Wait.
Now, how did you get into this this show? And then I want to know about how you went to comedy.
This radio show or comedy?
No. This Broadway show, like
because,
in a main room with a guy such as Roach.
Where well, it all started when I took a pull upon workshop.
Oh, so that's you just decided.
I started I wanted to try it out.
Okay.
Had no experience, didn't even really do an open mic or anything like that. I went there, I had no material prepared.
Okay.
And when they said, do your routine, I said, I don't have one. Well, do the jokes you're working on? I said, I don't have any.
Nice.
So why are you here? I don't know.
Okay.
Because I thought it was a workshop, like a building class.
Which is what I would have thought too.
Right.
To be honest.
So Paul goes, okay,
we don't need anything
I got
right
it.
now.
Call me out. He gave me my 20 minutes, basically in a one-on-one, telling me how to write comedy and do stuff like that.
Okay.
Then Mike Dillon, who Paul was doing the workshop for, offered me to do a contest for an amateur comedian contest. I was
Right.
like, what are you talking about?
Right.
He's like, aren't you a comic? I said, no. He goes, you took the workshop? I said, yeah, but I'm not a comic. He goes, well, if you want to give it a shot, it's here. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
So I said, how much material? He goes, 5 minutes. So I worked on exactly 5 minutes of material.
Okay.
And my first time on stage was at a show. It ended up not being a contest because not enough people got in to do it, but it was, you know, there was a lot of great comedians out there, and I met a lot of great people. And I said, okay, I did it. I'm done.
Now that first show, you're up there, the lights are in your face, you see the crowd.
I was okay with it because I was used to it from the band.
Okay.
So it was all right being on the crowd. When it
But the
sucked,
band, you're not there alone.
no, but
what I mean?
it did suck. Well, we've done karaoke and we've done
Yeah,
stupid
we've
things.
done
I
a
was
lot.
not afraid
Yeah.
of being up there with the crowd until about 2 minutes into my 5 minute set when I forgot the rest of my set.
Okay.
Then I was like, shit.
Right.
So I started looking around and I started doing some crowd work.
I was gonna say, now that is that not taboo, so to speak, but is
No,
that
no,
like,
it's actually, you really don't want to do it in the beginning because you want to get your comedy out there.
Okay.
Once you start doing the 10 to 15 minutes, and this is my opinion, and some comics agree, some disagree, so it's just, once you're doing the 10, 15 minutes, a little crowd work is good.
right.
Because you get, you know, you interact with them, they feel like they're part of the show. When you got 5 minutes goes really fast.
Right. Okay.
So, you know, but I didn't know what else to do. So I was talking about, you know, everyone doing what they're told, you know, by Facebook and stuff. And I went to this guy, I was like, you know what I'm talking about, right? He went, nope.
Right.
And I'm glad because I didn't know what to say if he said yes.
Right. Okay.
So I kind of made a joke about that. I was like, I had a really good joke, but this guy ruined it, you know, by
Yeah.
saying no. So thanks for that. You know, I just kind of went with it. And that's where the improv comes in handy because you're not always going to remember your stuff. You really don't want to go up there going, hi, I'm Dennis, and I'm going to tell you some jokes. And the first joke, you know, because
Right.
nobody's going to buy that. You go out there with a card or keywords and stuff like that, but you don't want to be caught
Oh, you
reading.
can? Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. People do it all the time.
Okay.
Some have their phone out or, you know, there's tricks, which I'm not going to get into because that's comic tricks. So if they want to tell you, that's one thing.
And this is all stuff they taught you in that class when you.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. And actually, they had me bring a cue card up because I told myself when I took this course at the brokerage in Belmore that I was going to do everything they said, whether I agreed or disagreed, because who the hell am I?
Right.
I've been doing this now for about a year.
Right.
All these guys had 20 plus years of experience.
Right.
They've done stuff all over. They've been, like Rich, when he comes here next week, I mean, he was with Ray Romano and Kevin James. And all that. I mean,
Right.
he knows what he's talking about. So I'm not going to argue with him. If I didn't like a joke, the way they would bring me, I tried it anyway.
Okay.
You know, and it worked. You know, they were right because that's what they do for a living.
I mean, obviously it's comedy, so there's really, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's really no taboo subject. I'm sure politics you kind of dance around.
You know, again, that also to me depends on the person
Right.
because
Well, to me, nothing's sacred. You know
I
that.
think,
don't care
you know,
what
right now a Trump joke to me is hack. You know, unless it's a really funny joke.
Right.
But everyone just, so Trump sucks.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, it's not
I
funny.
mean,
Stop. You have a funny joke, and God, I wish I remember his name because he was really funny. But at Broadway, this guy was making a joke, and he was saying about, anybody can be president. He goes, that's true, not true. There's never been a black president. Then Obama became president. He goes, oh, anybody can be president. Then Trump went, he goes, oh, you mean anybody? But, the
Right.
build up to the joke, it was funny. I'm not going to do his whole set because
Right.
I'm not stealing the joke. But that got a huge laugh from the crowd. It was funny.
Right.
But to just go out there and be like, well, Trump sucks.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Republicans
obviously
suck.
that's the flavor of the
Screw Hillary Clinton. It's not funny. If you have a joke involved with it, fine. But to me, it's just like hack at this point. I
I just think
disagree.
you could turn people off.
I
you know
like
what
Jim
I mean?
Carrey. I liked Jim Carrey, but when Kathy Griffin was holding Trump's head, Carrey said something which I didn't disagree with. He goes, "It's a comedian's job to push the envelope, to be controversial, to be obscene," and I don't think it is. In my opinion, a comic's job is to be funny.
Right.
If that includes pushing the envelope or being obscene or whatever, I think Dice Clay is hysterical.
Right.
Is he obscene? Yeah.
That's funny. That's exactly who I was.
But he's
gonna
funny.
say. But he does.
George
it.
Carlin touched a lot of sensitive topics.
Yes,
But he was funny.
He touched,
Bill Hicks
taboo at the time.
was nasty on stage, but funny.
Right.
So you could get away with it. If you're
Right.
not funny, you're just trying to get attention.
I don't think Carlin ever got political. You know what I mean?
Oh, he got very political.
Yeah, yes and no, but it was all more. He did it. It's a different. I don't know.
He got political. He talked about religion.
Yeah, but
he talked about things you
when
weren't
you're
supposed to
holding
talk
up
about.
a head, that whatever.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh, he didn't go that far,
That's
but-
almost. You're
He actually, it's funny because election day is tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah.
And
get
one
out
of his
vote.
jokes was, people always say if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain. And I say, bullshit. It's the other way around. If you vote, you don't have a right to complain because your guy won.
Right.
You're the reason why I got in there. So me, I'm not going to vote and I'm going to complain all I want. And again, his lead up was a lot funnier than mine, but
Yeah.
you get the point.
I
And you know
think it
what?
is important.
I agree with him to a point. I don't think just everybody should go out and vote. To me, it's wrong because if you have no idea who's running, you have no idea what their platform is, you're just going out just to do it and just hit things.
Right.
Don't vote. If you really want to vote, fake news is rampant on both sides.
Yeah, no,
it's hard to
it's
find
pretty
anything.
bad.
But if you want to do some research and you get an opinion and you want to vote for someone based off your opinion, if you want to hit all Republican, you want to hit all Democrat, fine, but have a reason. Don't just go out and be like, I'm cool, I voted. Have a reason and know who you're picking.
Yeah, I agree with you. Voter turnout is, especially midterms.
Well, I was going to bring that up
coming
too,
now.
because even with the presidential election, I know a lot of people don't like either side, and they won't go out and vote for a third party, or they'll pick one of the two, because they say a third party vote is a wasted vote. I say bullshit, and this is why. Again, this is my opinion. Less than half of the country votes in the presidential election.
Right. And midterms. are worse.
Of the half that do vote for the presidential election, let's just split them down the middle, 50-50 Democrat, Republican. If you ask a lot of Democrats, they don't necessarily agree with the people running. They just think they're the lesser of two evils.
Right.
If you ask a lot of Republicans, they'll have the same opinion.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like this guy, but he's better than that guy. So let's say that's half of them. So half of a half is a quarter.
Right.
So that means 25% of the people that are out there voting are voting because they like the person that's running, which means 75% of the people don't. So if those people actually went out and voted for, and I don't like to call it a third party because it could be more than one extra party.
No, like the
But
marijuana
if there was
reform party.
a legitimate alternate party and a legitimate alternate candidate, and those 75% of people voted for that person,
Yeah, it'd be
they would
surprised.
blow out the other two combined. So again, that's just it's ignorance to me if you won't go out and vote for someone who you like because they're not a Democrat. Or
So you don't plan on voting more?
Oh, I'm voting,
Okay.
but I have my opinions and I know who I'm voting for.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
I'm torn on that. I kind of feel you should.
And
Everybody
I'll
has
be
a
honest with
civic
you,
duty
because
to
sometimes I'll
vote.
go through, especially in midterms, I'm like, who's this person? So I'll
Right.
skip that. Because I'm not just going to pick someone just to pick him. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know who you're voting for.
I guess I'm kind of. That's where I'll go to the bottom, like you said, the alternate.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care at that point. I don't know this
Yeah.
guy. I don't know this guy. Wait, who? Samuel L. Jackson? Yep. Yeah, you got my vote. You know what I mean? So.
So, yeah, I mean,
I think it is important because, and I don't know if it's. They say millennials are even worse now. Millennials complain. They join
I
one
well,
group or the other, but their voter turnout is even worse.
part of the problem is, too, that they're taught what to think.
Oh no!
And I
without
never,
a doubt.
you should teach kids how to think, not what to think.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Form your own opinion.
Again, my own opinion, but I just think you're doing a disservice to people when you're telling them what to do.
I think they just have more access to news, fake news, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, it's basically people's opinions. I mean, the mainstream news has gotten so out of hand with the sides, you know what I mean?
I've
But
seen
I
blatant
guess-
stuff,
I don't know
fake
if
as
we-
anything stuff that's been proven fake.
Oh, yeah.
People still posting it. Years later, people are still posting it on both sides. Again, I'm not saying it's
No,
one
but
side or the other.
Now you can pick. You know, back when
Yeah.
we watched the news, first off, you didn't get to pick your TV station. If your dad happened to be watching the
Yeah.
news, it was whatever he picked.
You were the remote.
Right, or whatever.
Go change that.
Right, you were moving the antennas, and you listened to whatever they had to say, you know, and that's how you formed your opinion.
Right.
It wasn't so, and I'm sure the stations back then, you know, were either pro-Republican or pro-Democrat, but we didn't know as kids.
See, what I would like to see, too, and we really stay away from politics on the show, so I want to move off this too, but what I would like to see is stations reporting the news.
Yes.
Not creating it, not putting a spin on it, not leaning one way or the other. I would like to see them just report the news. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
Let
Like I
people
said,
form their own
I
opinion
don't like
about that.
talking about politics only because some people might tune off. They might whatever.
Yeah.
They'll be back. You know, I'm not worried about it. But
Yeah, I just don't like to do it because I like to have a fun show, and
no.
it really, especially now, people are so sensitive
but
about things
leading
that
up
people
to
are willing to
election
kill
day,
over it.
you know what? I think it's an important
Yeah, it is,
message.
you know,
Get
it
out,
is for
vote.
tomorrow.
We have opposing views. I think you should go out and vote. Actually, you do too. But
Oh no, I think if you have an opinion, you should absolutely vote. But if you're just going to go out there to go, hey, I voted, and don't know who's running, I just think that's wrong.
yeah,
Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should. Because it's just like saying, and again, I don't want to get on another hot topic, but it's your constitutional right. So it's the right to bear arms. Not everybody should own a gun.
no, yeah, no.
So having a right to do something doesn't mean you should do it.
Right.
And again, if you are going to do it, just do it responsibly.
Okay, I agree. Other shows. Let's get back.
Yeah, actually, I have
to-
3 Friday shows coming up in a row. So this Friday, like we said, is the Broadway Comedy Club. Next Friday, which I think is the 16th then, if I'm doing my math right.
I can look. Actually,
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know what today is. So this Friday's the 9th. Yes,
Right.
the 16th.
So the 16th, I'm going to be at Barton's Place for the first time, and that's in Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai.
And I
Okay.
believe Tony Landolfi is the headliner on that one.
And
Very
that's
funny guy.
Now, is that's not a big room, little room situation?
I think it's just yeah, I've never been there before, but I think it's just like an open place.
Okay, and then the 23rd.
The 23rd, I am at the Gateway Comedy Club, which is where I started, which is in the Clarion Hotel,
In
Ronkonkoma.
okay, I will
And
be. I think I'm going to try to make that.
Chris
show.
Monti's the headliner there, another really funny guy. So if you don't want to come see me, just say you're there to see me and watch the headliners. 'cause
That's
they're
the
funny.
day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, it's Black Friday, so buy yourself some tickets.
Okay.
You have no excuse. You should be done shopping by then. Shopping. If you go out on Black Friday and you're still shopping by noon, you're late.
Kids are off too. You know, parents and college
And
students.
most people are off. So.
college students are home. If you can get them out of the
And at
bars,
that point, you
can
probably
get
are
them
going to need a
babysit.
laugh if you go shopping.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So absolutely.
Black Friday. Don't understand it. All right, so that's your gigs you got coming up. That's kind of
Yeah, I
cool.
got stuff in December too, but we'll get to that. I don't want to get too far in advance. But yeah, every show, different headliner, some different comics on the bill. Most of them, I think everybody would enjoy. You know,
Okay, and
so
now
even if you don't want to see me,
we were talking about. You better come and see him.
just say you're there to see me. I
yeah.
don't care if you're there to see me or not, as long as you say,
Now,
hey,
how,
I'm here.
how do comics get paid? Do they get a piece of the door, a piece of the bar? Because I know most of these places
Again,
you go,
it really
there's
depends.
a 2-drink minimum, yeah?
Yeah.
And some of them, there's a door, right?
That could be a
It's usually not
sensitive
much.
topic for the comics too, so I'm not going to get too into it, but I'll tell you the different ways.
Well,
Some get a per person deal,
Okay.
so you're going to get this much per person. Some get a flat rate.
So it's no matter who comes through the door.
Right.
Okay.
So, in other words, like let's say I'm doing the show at Governor's, and I'm getting a couple bucks a head. If I have 10 people, multiply that by 10. That's my pay.
So they only go by the people that buy
That there to
tickets for
say
you?
right. That's why I always say, make sure you tell me
Oh,
that.
okay. See, that's something that's what I was trying to get at. So
Some of the clubs
when
in
you
the
go
city,
into
because it's
more,
exposure, you don't get paid at all,
you know,
but you still need a minimum. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 15.
and do
So-
is that something they ask when you purchase your ticket? Who you're here to see? Or-
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't, because you buy it online, usually when you're there at the door, you will tell them.
You tell them, and that's okay.
If you're at a level where you're, again, this is certain things, certain people, everyone runs it a little differently, but if you're a feature or a headliner, a lot of them get a flat rate.
Okay.
and that rate could vary a lot.
Right.
You know, if not that I'm a headliner by any means, but
Right,
if I'm
no.
headlining, I'm not getting the money that Dice Clay's getting. I'm
Right.
not getting the money that Jim Brewer's getting.
Right.
Obviously, you know. So there are
But
different
they know
levels.
Jim Brewer alone. Like a lot of those headliners, they could fill the house by themselves.
Right.
Right.
And that's why they don't have to really do anything. I don't want to say they don't have to do anything, because obviously they've been there and they've done that, they accomplished it.
Right.
But, you know, for example, I'm headlining in the Little Room. And again, I'm talking about the Little Room because that's what I know. This is the first time in the, you know, really performing in the big room in Governors, so I could be way off. My job as an opener is to bring people in. The headline is there just to make them laugh.
Okay.
Because that headline is going to bring people just because he's funny.
So they're basically pimping you to bring people in.
Yeah, it's a way to look
It's
at it.
almost like paying your dues.
Because it changed,
Yeah?
and we'll talk about this a lot next week with Rich Walker, I'm sure. Because he was there 20 years ago or 30 years ago when it was very different.
Right.
Because, and again, different clubs might have a different time, but the stories I've been told is you went to a club and you performed either for the manager, the promoter, and or the owner
Alone.
alone, and you had to show them what you had,
Right.
and if they liked you, they booked you.
Right.
You know what you had to do? You had to be funny.
So it wasn't a matter of
Somewhere
you had
along
to
the
bring
line,
people in.
you had to go out there and start barking and handing out flyers, come see me.
Okay.
There was minimums, and sometimes those minimums, like I said, were 15 to 20. At our age, you're not getting that
Right.
show after show, especially when you're out there every night. So people got to rely on open mics, but open mics too, sometimes you got to bring a minimum.
Okay. Now
You
you
know.
have 3 shows, 3 Fridays in a row.
Right.
You've tried to vary your sets.
I do try to mix it up a little bit, but you know, also I'm trying to perfect what I have.
Right.
Because another thing too, another theory is you start with your 5 minutes, and you're trying to build to that hour set, that
Wow.
HBO special.
Okay. Yeah.
So to speak.
Right.
So you want to do that first 5 minutes and kill it. And hey, this is not working, but this is. Let me mix this up. I'll take this joke out. I'll write a new one. Then that 5 you want to turn to 7. That 7 to 10. The 10 to 15, and so on.
Right.
Till you get up there. Most of these clubs, you go the headliner. You know, especially in the shows I'm doing, they're doing a half hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Okay.
But you're doing that HBO special. You need a solid hour, and it better be funny.
Okay.
You know, because especially now in the ADD society, can you imagine going to see Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
and he's having a lull? He's like,
Yeah.
This guy
Oh, yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
You know,
phone
that-
will be out. Right. Yeah.
you know, that doesn't
Now,
that
and
didn't
it-
happen. That people were there. They
is
were there
that
to
what
see
open
him.
mics are for? Because you're obviously not getting paid, right? For an open
well,
mic.
open mics, yeah, you're not getting paid for an open mic. You're there to hone material down, and you'll see a lot of times, which happens in the city, which is why a lot of people like to be at all these. You might see a Chris Rock or Jerry
Right.
Seinfeld or someone in there. They're not promoted. They're not whatever. Sometimes they're trying to be incognito,
Right.
not being noticed because they're working on stuff.
Right. So
They don't wanna be in that,
To
because
me,
if
it sounds
you-
like a great place to try out new material. Because if you do swing and miss,
Who's your
cares?
favorite comic right now? Big name. Let's just say it's Brewer. Just
I mean,
because
who
he's
doesn't
the one
love Jim Brewer?
If you go to see Jim Brewer, you expect him to be funny. So if he's working on stuff
Yeah.
and it's not that great, you're like, wow, he sucks.
Right.
Because that's how everybody is now. Not that he sucks, but he's working on material. And sometimes you sit there, and I'll tell you, just even from the limited experience I have, it's hysterical to me. Then I go out there and I try it, and it sucks.
Right.
Sometimes it's the joke. Sometimes it's the delivery. Sometimes it's the crowd.
Right. Okay. Yeah, like
I
you
don't
said,
know yet.
you
I'm
actually
still
said
working on the difference.
You've had
He
shows
knows.
where you've killed it with that joke in one
Right.
crowd, and then the next week you try it again and crickets. You know,
And that's why Paul helped me a lot, too, because I was going to throw away most of my set.
No, I remember
I had him
you
watch
got
it,
frustrated at one point.
And he said, it's not your set, it's your delivery. You're just not selling it. You're looking down. You're not punching the punchline out there. It's called a punchline for a reason.
Right.
He's giving me all this advice, and I said, all right,
so like
if you say so. And then I tried it his way, and boom.
meaning like
Same jokes were killing.
like vocal inflection, like how
Vocal inflection, interacting with the crowd.
right.
You know, just to use a lame joke, why'd the chicken cross the road? If you go, why'd the chicken cross the road to get to the other side?
Right. Unless you're
It's not as funny as
Stephen Wright.
why'd the chicken cross the road? To
Right.
get to the other side. You know,
Right.
you're going to get a lot more response from that.
Yeah.
Stephen Wright was a little different, but he didn't really fade away as much as he drew you in.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
very different. Him and Mitch Hedberg are, and Jay London does that too. I don't know if you ever saw Jay London. He's really funny. He used to be at the Brokerage all the time. I actually get to perform with him at Gateway. He was on Last
Is he
Comic
at any of
Standing.
your shows coming?
No, he lives in California now. Hopefully I get to do a show with him again. But he's one of those, he just moves around the stage and does these different things and acts all awkward as part of his act. And,
Right.
But Stephen Wright is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
like
he
I
was
said, he
classic.
just
The first time I ever saw him, I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you serious? This guy's going to talk monotone through the whole thing?"
You-
and I think I
yeah.
peed myself.
You know, you look at someone like Jackie the Joke Man, who's the exact polar opposite.
Yes,
He'll tell a joke
yeah.
and a laugh, whether it's funny or not.
Yeah.
Where Stephen Wright would actually turn and grab water to avoid being seen laughing,
Yeah.
because he didn't want to. Yeah, he's keeping that very dry.
Jackie was always hit and miss to me. You know what I mean? I loved him because he
But
was
he's
on
telling
Stern
jokes. And here's a weird thing, and I've seen him, years ago a couple times. But he's a phenomenal writer. He's a very funny guy. I don't know if all his shows were just joke book jokes.
Right.
But he's, if you listen to old Stern before there was cameras in there or whatever, and some of it they were filming and showing later, sometimes you would hear him chuckling
Right.
when nothing funny was going
Yeah.
on. Then Howard would say something really funny and everybody would laugh.
Oh, no,
that
yeah,
was
without
him
a doubt, yeah.
writing it and passing it over.
Or typing it to him, however they communicate.
Well, I'm just going
yeah.
back to old school when
Yeah.
he was handling stuff because he could get away with it then. Now they got the screens in front of him. He's not even on there anymore. But
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a really funny writer. Why he doesn't do that or
Well,
why
'cause
he
he's
didn't do
quick.
that, I don't
He
know.
was very quick.
He's very quick.
Howard,
with
I
it.
mean, Howard's
Yeah.
quick too, but he's mostly prepped and.
But you see that. I mean, Conan O'Brien was a writer for Saturday Night Live and The
Yeah.
Simpsons. Now he's got writers. It's hard to go out there night after night and just be funny. So you get a team of people writing for you
Right.
in your style to be funny.
So do you sit home and write material? Now they say
yeah,
they say
sometimes
that
when
a
I
lot
can.
of material is regurgitated.
Yeah.
And you will hear
Well, that's
some
why-
comedians do another comedians, and it's kind of hard. How many different things can you make funny?
It's like
Probably
music.
make
There's only
sense.
so many things. That's why if you see my comedy, a lot of it is personal stories.
Okay,
Does it mean nobody else ever had the same story? No. They might have.
but it wasn't like how you.
But
had it.
I tell it my way. But the bad side with that is sometimes you sit there and laugh at a comedian and you don't even know why. It's like that
Right.
wasn't even really funny,
Right.
but it's relatable, and I don't understand it, but it works. You watch Seinfeld and he talks about taking a shower and it's freezing, then you turn it a slight bit, now it's boiling.
Right.
Is it funny? No, but it is because we've
He-
all done
He's
that.
actually one that I don't find super funny. His show is great.
Yeah, his show was great, but I'm just saying, like, he said some things, like, he talked about the difference being on Long Island or in Long Island.
Right.
And
We're all on
again,
Long
if you
Island.
break it down, is it a funny thing? No, but it is when someone's performing it. You go, I know that.
Right.
I say that, you
Yeah.
know. Once you can relate, once you go, ooh, I do that too, now it's funny to them. So when you're telling personal stories, sometimes it's hard to relate. So, it's something you got to work on. Well, something I got to work on, not you. You don't care.
No, it's something I've since seeing you do it, I've toyed around doing.
If you
Like
wanna
said,
do it,
I've
like I
done
said,
an amateur thing years ago when I was in Illinois.
I would highly suggest starting with the brokerage course because it's a step program that's designed over a certain amount of weeks. You're going to start here, you're going to end here, and you're starting is you're going in there with nothing, and they're going to tell you what you're going to write for your jokes.
Right.
And well, they're going to tell you like what to write down, and they're going to build it into a set for you that when you graduate, you're going to go up and perform that set on
So
stage.
they do that now.
So they bring you right from the very beginning to the stage.
Now, are you in front of a live crowd at that
Oh yeah,
graduation?
absolutely.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're at the brokerage.
yeah, I mean that's
So, unfortunately, I think the day I was there, my graduation was a Yankee playoff game.
right. So that's
So it was a little tough. But I mean, I've been there where it was like, packed. So you're performing to a sellout.
Also, it's not just the graduates.
It is, but they usually have alumni come back
Okay, so they'll try
and
to.
perform, and they'll perform. The three instructors will perform. They're all very funny.
And how long is your set? I mean, at that point, you
usually
got
have
what,
about
3
5
minutes? Oh, 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
about five. I mean, if you go short, you go short. But you kind of want to do the 5 minutes, and they work with you. I mean, they're all. You have Steve Lazarus, Peter Bales, and Rich Walker.
Okay.
They all see things differently, but the same way, if you know what I mean. Like they'll knock around the jokes, like, well, let's try it this way. No, that's not good. That's not the joke. This is the joke, and they'll discuss it out. Like, all right, try it this way.
Okay.
So it's weird in the fact that you're saying something that you think is funny, and they're just kind of sitting there taking notes, going, nah,
No, yeah.
which is weird at first, but then once you realize what they're doing,
Right.
and then when you go to that graduation and you sell that joke and get the eruption of laughter, it pays. That's worth it. In and
Now,
of
and you
itself.
said it runs how many weeks?
I forget exactly, and I don't want to say and be wrong. But we'll, like I said, if you watch next week, Rich will definitely be talking about it.
Okay, yeah, no, and I'll be back to.
And then, like I
the
said,
chat.
I'm sure there's different ways to do it, but I like Paul Bond as a comic. I think we're very relatable. I like how he teaches because he'll listen to you and help you tell the joke your way. He's not trying to change your voice or make you him. He's trying to make you you. And I've been going to him because he has his workshop still, and I've done some one-on-ones with him to just hone my...
No, so you said you did it backwards. You did his workshop and then...
It's not really backwards because you could go to that workshop and build. They do that once a month.
Okay.
But again, if you have no experience and you're not really doing open mics, I would suggest starting with the brokerage one just because it's a steady, you have to go once a week and do the program.
Okay.
Once you finish that program, then you're free to do whatever you want. Some people have taken the course 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
But the
Now,
whole
do
thing
they
you go
try
to
to,
once a
they
month.
don't try
or-
to book you, like, they don't have, like, a little room. They don't have...
Well, you know what?
Amateur
You
nights.
make connections, and as soon as you take the course, you're gonna get stuck in the calls from some promoters. You're gonna meet comics there. There might be someone who's going there for a tune-up that's taking their 3rd or 4th class, going, "Hey, I like you. Why don't you do the show with me?" I've met some friends there, like David Weiss. I'm just gonna mention as one, who we still keep in contact. We've worked together. Mike Keegan, who's great, has booked both of us on the show, and you make these connections. And then if someone's doing a show, I need a comedian. Oh, you know who's really funny? I was in the course with this guy Mike. You should have him on. He's great.
Okay.
So you do make.
So there's a lot of
contacts like that.
word of mouth, a lot of contacts. I'm still waiting for you and a Billy Mira show. Billy, I don't know if you're watching or gonna watch, but I got to see Billy and Dennis on the stage together.
That would be great. I'd love to perform with him.
Yeah. Billy's a super funny guy. I've never really seen all his shtick, but I mean, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
You know, right?
He's, you know what? He's a performer.
He is.
That's really the best way to put it, because I don't want to say he's a comic or a singer or this or that or the other. He can do all of them, obviously, but he's just a performer. You give him the stage or the platform, and he's going to perform, and he's going to perform the shit out
Oh
of it.
yeah, I'm sure they're hitting the light or however they tell you your time's up with that guy. You know, like,
Yeah,
all right, get the fuck off
he
the stage.
he took one of the workshops with me. It was more than one, but the first one he went to. Now it's a workshop, so I'm getting up.
Oh, I didn't know
all right,
that.
I had this idea, and I get this thing written down. I was going to talk about this. I'm going through it. Billy gets up and performs like he's on stage at the Garden,
Okay. Yeah.
because that's how you're going to get the real feel of it. And like I was reading stuff on the couch, she's like, "No, get up there, get on the mic."
Right.
Even though the mic's not plugged into anything, you could get up there, perform
Right.
it,
Right.
get the feel for it.
And there's people standing around looking at you. I guess
Yeah.
that's probably now. Can you really see the crowd or no?
It depends on where you are. A lot of times you just get a blaring light in your face.
That's
and
okay.
That's another thing too. You don't want to just stare at the front row because you can see them.
Okay, so you gotta.
You want to
the
look
back
at,
of the
if you
crowd.
got to do this maybe a little bit, because if you're looking for something specific.
I mean, I'm struggling with this alone. I keep trying to look at the camera, but
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, so I want to look
Yeah.
at you, and I know I keep trying to correct, and I look like I have a broken neck at this point. But you know, it's hard just to look at 3 inanimate objects, and it's even worse if all I have is this light in my face, and I know there's people
in
out
a lot
there,
of
but I'm
ways,
not
this is
sure.
the hardest platform to perform on.
This.
Yes.
Okay.
There's no, I mean, all right, granted, we could interact with some people here, but we've kind of just been talking to each other. And,
Yeah.
You're talking to a camera or to somebody else in a room, like especially if I'm trying to make jokes to be funny, I don't know if they're funny or not.
Right.
You don't know if the people at home are laughing.
No. Right. Yeah, there's
You're
no-
on stage, you know right away if they laughed.
Right. How many people you got on?
I don't know, because that's never fully accurate.
Okay, yeah, you had told me that before.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that.
I
part,
don't
but,
understand it either.
Um,
But I see a bunch of people, like Eric Goldstein. I should have been saying hi as he came along. Your brother is or was on. Mitch,
oh, very cool.
Belinda, B, of course. Larry. What's going on, Larry?
Larry.
Larry from the Billy and Larry show when I used to be on their radio show.
Okay.
Yeah, he's another really funny guy that was very good at radio. Those two were a good combination.
So you were saying next week, Teresa's back.
Yeah, next week Teresa's back. I'm sure she's very excited. We can't wait for that.
Is she on, or is she studying?
She's in class right now.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, she'd be here.
Oh, I didn't realize she took.
Yeah,
the
she's
class on that.
but yeah, I believe this is the last week, or at least it's the last Monday. She's got the course. So
And next week you have a great comic.
next week, yeah, very funny guy and great instructor. And it's funny because just to show you how small of a world it is, when we went to the Gateway Haunted Playhouse, because we had one of the actors from there on there, I went with V, and we were going to record some stuff. We recorded the walkthrough. You saw all that. So all of a sudden, hey, I turn around, it's Rich Walker. I just thought he was there to go through. He actually works there.
Oh, okay.
He does the guest service booth, which is like the dead thing, and
Okay, so there's somebody in there obviously talking because they interacted with you, which
Right.
I thought was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So I don't know who the comic was in there. I'm going to try to find out next week from him. But he also teaches courses there.
Oh, wow.
So, small world.
All right. I'm going to have to try my hand at this one day.
Yeah.
Give me something to do besides
You
beat
you
Mr.
watch
Mom.
next week, and Rich will explain the formula for the program, and I'm sure you'll be sold on it.
Now, he's from the brokerage program, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, it's funny because there was a guy that was in the course with us that took it. He just wanted to do it. And the only stage time he wanted was his graduation. He never planned on doing anything.
Just want to be
past it.
funnier at parties.
I guess, yeah, maybe, but it was just something he wanted to accomplish. And it's funny because in the beginning, he struggled like we all did because it's new and you just don't understand what they're trying to do. But then once you do, he got it at the end. It was actually really funny. And he was worried about remembering stuff, so he went up with all his index cards where he had everything written out on, and he just lost track of his how would it do it, and got a big laugh.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to, but he got it. So then he was like, "Oh, okay, I get this now."
Right.
And he was really good. And I don't know if he's doing anything still, but I hope.
Now,
he
did
is,
you
'cause
have
he
a
was
moment
funny.
like that where everything just clicked? Like where you were like trying too hard to sell it or trying, what
I
mean?
think the first moment I had, and it was weird because I was nervous, but like excited nervous. I performed at the Wild Rose Cafe in Farmingdale, and the headliner was Paul Bond.
Okay.
So here it is now, the guy who I watched years ago, I was going to Governors to see, and a guy I was kind of following his career. Jim Haggerty, who makes the movies, hired him to do a performance and be a celebrity judge on his, his events. So I got to know him a little bit, but I didn't know him. So we became Facebook friends. So here I am, like I'm a fan of his. I think he's a funny comic. Now he's teaching me, but now I get to perform in front of him.
Right.
And it was great. I did whatever it was, like 8 minutes or whatever, which is a good chunk at that time.
Yeah, that's a nice set.
And he's like, "Wow, you killed it." So that was like my moment. Like, it wasn't a perfect design.
Right.
It was a restaurant.
Now you
Some
said-
people are facing the opposite
Right.
way in the booth, so they can't even really turn
and they're
around.
talking.
They kept the games on. It was March Madness.
Right.
A lot of them were replays or whatever, but they kept the TVs on because it was a bar, and we'll turn them down, but they're not going off.
Okay.
But he said you went out there and you made it a comedy show. You made it a comedy venue. You went and grabbed everybody from where they were and made it pay attention.
That's great.
So to get a compliment like that was like my moment. The next biggest moment was when I did the contest at Broadway. Because the first contest I did, I choked. I prepared way too much stuff, and I tried to jam all the jokes in. When I did the contest at Broadway, which Paul was a judge and the headliner at,
Right.
I think was probably to this day one of my best nights.
Now you said it goes pretty quick. Like,
Oh yeah.
Now was it always like that? I'm sure the first time you're on stage, you were like,
The first time,
Holy shit, when's
especially
this
when I
gonna
forgot
end?
halfway through,
Yeah.
like, how much time do I get left? And a couple of times I got caught up there because Keegan was letting me go one time at one of his shows at Coasters. And I was like, so how much time do I have left? And I'm looking at him. He's like, whatever, just, because
Now,
I was
you-
running out of stuff to say.
recently you were a host.
Yes.
Now that's
And I
a
got to
little-
think that's John Butera has been very helpful to me. I mean, I've been mentioning other guys, and Mike Keegan and John Butera are promoters and comics as well, and they're great with putting me on a lot of their shows. And
Now
John
hosts, you
especially
go out there,
lately.
you kind of give us a few minute primer.
Yeah, you go out, you do a set, a shorter set, obviously, or like be like a 5 minute, 6 minute thing.
Right.
And then you bring the comics up, and in between the first couple, you tell a couple of jokes here or there, and then you got to judge it. Something happened, you want to get that quick liner out, get it out. If someone fell flat for whatever reason, you want to pick the crowd
Try
back
to
up
pick
for the next
before-
one.
Okay.
And then, of course, you want to sell the shit out of the headliner, the features in the headliner.
Right. Okay. That
Which
sounds-
was tough for me because my anxiety of remembering names was tough.
Yes.
So I'm trying not to bring them up on stage, and even though I knew it, I'm just like, next on stage is so. As I'm thinking that in my head, I'm like blowing my own set. But as the night went on, I calmed down a bit.
That's
so
pretty
next
cool.
time I am going to see,
wish I
you're
could have
going
made
to see
that.
me with the card with the names on it when I go up.
I wish I could have made that show.
But yeah,
I
that's
definitely
pretty
will
much our
make
time.
One of these. So we got the 9th in the city. Yes. The 16th.
Barton's
at
Place in Mount Sinai,
Mount Sinai, and the 23rd.
Gateway
at
Comedy Club in Ronkonkoma.
Ronkonkoma. I'm gonna maybe go for that one because it is the holiday weekend. I don't have to worry about my kids the
Yeah.
next day going to school and everything.
And thanks for coming down and filling in. We'll have to have another night here.
Yeah, no,
and
no, I'd
again,
love to come back.
Kayla Logistics, Frank Zambuto. Give him a call at 347-536-3933. We'll see you next week with Rich Walker.
Take care.